What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Casey and Michelle, and we are discussing episode 4 of season 2 of Daryl Dixon.
Hello.
Hello. So, I know we're going to go in order, but I'm just going to say this episode, it made me happy.
Yes.
And it made me mad. And then it made me happy again.
Yes.
It was there was a lot of emotion in this episode, and I was not quite ready for all of that to hit me at once. It was like, what are y'all trying to do to me? What are y'all trying to do to me?
I agree.
Let's start at the top. Madame Genet and her little army of enhanced walkers, because she actually does kill the crowd that she has brought to the nest. Carol, of course, as we discussed in the last episode, hid behind the big dude, so she didn't die.
I'm calling her James Bond Carol because I was like, how you getting out of this one?
Listen, they even shot her with one of the serum arrows, and she was able to get it. She got that off real quick.
Real quick.
She was
like, because it hit that leather jacket.
Yeah.
So it really didn't get through that leather jacket.
Oh, okay, because my thought was, how none of it get in you? Like, not even dribble, dribble. Like, you ain't get no stick. Okay.
She got that off real quick.
Real quick. She was
so like, at that point, I was like, okay, you got it off, but they about to turn and you still alive. So how you gonna get from this group and not get shot leaving the group?
We saw Carol being super Carol, as she always is.
She was being track star Carol. Because when I say sis got the hell on, she ran, she was dodging bullets, and she takes the Doom buggy that they actually have Cadron strapped to. I don't know if we remember. I don't know if we mentioned that in the last episode, but they had Cadron strapped to a Jeep because they were going to use him as bait to like lure the walkers to the nest. So Carol gets on it with him and they go chasing. They go straight to the nest. Now I was like, Carol, why would you lead? Oh, okay. She has to go get her friend out. So I was like, okay. Yes. But when I tell y'all, I know we've had this discussion before, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to reiterate it again, just in case we are all alive during a zombie apocalypse. If those bitches start running, I'm done. I'm done. I'm just going to find a corner somewhere and just sit there and just wait for the inevitable end to come.
All you can do. That's all you can do.
Because no, you saw Carol. Carol was struggling. I was like, okay, Carol is used to slow walkers. Carol is not used to having to run for her life.
Yeah.
And I know she was probably like, son of a bitch.
What the hell is this? To go from episode 1 walkers to track stars? Oh, no. But remember, she saw it at when they was peeking through the gate. So she knew they was gonna get up and go fast.
Yeah, but they weren't even going that fast when she was on Ash's land. Or are you talking about
when her and old boy was peeking through the gate? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I knew
because he got up and ran towards the guard and she shot him, as he got up to like, so she saw the little sprint he did.
Yeah.
But it's different when you got free land and you just straight open field.
Yeah.
And it's also different when it's one and then you got like more than a dozen coming after you.
Right. I mean, running.
Either way, she had to get up out of there. So wasn't gonna end up well for her.
Man, this is like World War Z.
Yes. And I have said it before because we've referenced that movie as well. And I was like, when my kids were younger and we saw that movie, I turned to them and I told them, I said, if there's ever zombies in our lifetime and they run like that, I said, I'm just letting y'all know now, I'm going to find somebody's gun. We're going to sit crisscross applesauce in the middle of the living room. And I'm just going to get it over with for all of us because ain't no way. They were like, yup. Because ain't no way.
Take me out.
Take me out.
Right.
Because I can't even run that fast. So then I'm done.
Hello? I have arthritis in both knees. There will be absolutely no escaping for me.
What they say, let my kids know I love them. I'm gone.
The kids will be like, can you please take us out first so we get to deal with this?
Oh no, I can't. Because that makes me think of that movie, The Mist, every time. I can't. Sorry, spoilers. You took everybody else out before you, and then you get out to take yourself out, and the world is good. That's horrible.
Oh, wow.
What?
That's crazy.
Not you took everybody else out.
Well, the same type of situation. Like, if we go outside this car, we're going to die. Mm-hmm. That's how bad it was in The Mist.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I never seen the movie.
So he killed everyone in the car, including his son, and he went out there. He had no more bullets. He went out there to be taken by the creatures. But as he thought a creature was coming, it was people clearing the way, like burning the mist away.
Oh, that's horrible.
That's fucked up.
That's why you were like, well, the kids be like, take me where? I don't know. I think I just take myself first because maybe the kids will be able to survive.
Oh my goodness. That's really fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay. Sorry, everyone. It's a bad ending. That's the end of it.
If you never saw The Mist, I just told you the end.
And the funny thing about The Mist is Melissa McBride was in that movie.
Wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the movie because she was a casting director. And she only did like a few acting jobs, and she did The Mist, and that was how she ended up getting on The Walking Dead because of what she did in The Mist.
Wow.
Yeah, because she had to deal with that stuff. Oh, wow.
Wow. But anyway, so Carol Steele's
and Laurie Holdham was in there too.
Oh, was she? Okay. That's one of those movies that is continuously on my to be watched list. So I'll watch it at some point, probably sometime this year.
Yeah, Melissa McBride is the woman with kids who didn't make it.
You know what?
She didn't.
We're not even going to go there. So,
however, she made it here.
She did.
There was a jump up
the Jeep. She freed Cadron. And she starts
deflect bullets too, because I mean, people were shooting right at her, but not a glaze.
Let me tell you,
they didn't have good aim. They didn't have good aim.
They were to shoot him because clearly he behind her. Neither one of them got shot. However, that's okay because that's what I was thinking in my mind. Like, oh, she about to get shot in the shoulder a little bit, glaze her face. She gonna get shot in the leg.
Let me tell you what it is. She got shot with one of the with the serum arrow, and before she got it out, it protected her. It coated her with some kind of invisibility shield.
Okay, all right. If we want to go there with that, sure.
No. We're just saying, okay. I mean, but we've already talked about how the guards and stuff at the nest are not really trained. They're not really prepared. So they're probably just shooting blindly. And of course, they don't have time to focus because you're trying to keep the onslaught of walkers from coming in. Because can you imagine the people who are at the front of the gate? They see these walkers coming and they're dead before they can even comprehend what's going on. The ones who are there, first of all, you see this person that's coming after you in a Jeep or just barreling through with the Jeep. Now, granted, she wasn't trying to hit anybody and she wasn't really trying to kill any of them people because she doesn't know yet that Daryl is being held prisoner, right? She thinks that he's a part of the nest because that was his intention. That's what was going on that Madame Genet would have known. She wouldn't have known that Lo Sang was keeping him prisoner. So she had no reason to be killing folks. Now, however, you start shooting at her, trying to keep her from coming in. She's got to defend herself because she doesn't have time to sit there and explain to them, I'm not with these people. I'm coming for my friend. You shouldn't have made you are an obstacle. I'm just going to kill you and get you out my way. I will say my apologies later. That's basically what Carol is right now. Now, in the midst of all this going on outside, on the inside, Lo Sang is questioning Isabel again, trying to find out where Laurent is and trying to talk to her about the fact that her faith is weakened, her resolve has weakened. She has let this Daryl Dixon get in her head and turn her from the cause. And he is increasingly sounding like a madman. Like Lo Sang is gone. Common sense is gone from him now. Mm-hmm. He is so focused on finding Laurent and doing this little ceremony, experiment, whatever, because he really believes that if the walker bites Laurent will not be infected, and that is what's going to lead the new faction into the world. That's what's going to heal. And he's thinking all this stuff, and he was like, yeah, we have to have the proof. And she was like, if you need proof, you really don't have the faith, right? Somebody comes in, tells Lo Sang that they're being attacked, and I guess he was getting ready to take her back to the dungeon where Daryl was, or they were in a shower or something, the showers. She takes the little grate from her shower and she slashes him across the face. Mm-hmm. Okay. I was like, okay, she's distracting him a little bit. I will be honest and say I was not expecting him to pick up that knife and stab her. I thought he was just gonna like threaten her, scare her, or just basically be like, look, I have this, I can hurt you. This motherfucker actually stabbed her. I was like,
oh, and then I was concerned for her because I thought, okay, she's about to die on this ground.
I did not want her to turn into
and I'm thinking, you know what? No, she's not going to die. They're going to patch her up. She's just going to slow her down some, but she'll be patched up.
Mm-hmm. I figured she would die, but I didn't want her to die and then become a walker. I wanted her to have, for her character and for what she has been through, and, you know, her trying to protect Laurent and all this other stuff, I really wanted her to have a dignified death, you know, as much as she could within the circumstances. I didn't want her to become a walker. I didn't want them to have to, you know, see her like that and put her down. I just didn't want any of that. So when she got up and she was making her way outside, I was like, oh, maybe somebody will find her and patch her up. And someone does find her. Out of all people, Carol finds her. And I was like, okay, Carol didn't try to kill her. She tried to help her.
And looked so concerned for her. Like, oh, let me get you over here.
And, you know, I was thinking about that because I was thinking about what we've said about Carol in the last couple of episodes. And I don't know. I think maybe with Carol, she's so used to holding people at arm's length, and maybe something about what they went through at the Commonwealth, trying to get into the Commonwealth, and just some other things as far as, you know, maybe her view about community has changed. And granted, I think she's let her guard down a little bit too much, because I think the old Carol would have sussed out that Genet was playing her. I think the old Carol, you know, she would have had more intuition in regards to Madame Genet, especially after you see her doing her people doing the experiments. This is not a good person. And that should have been the red flag for Carol. But
I think I will push back a little bit on that. I don't think so. I think Daryl definitely lost his edge. I don't think Carol did. The only reason why is because Carol been consistent to this point. Even when they were on Greenland and she was sitting next to that woman, she was on 100. She was ready because she knew it wasn't right when that woman started talking about the land is, paying us back or whatnot.
But see, if that was the case,
I think with the madam, what it is,
she would have never given Hannah that crossbow. She would have never.
But she still wasn't concerned. Like she did, but she wasn't fit. She knew she could take her. Like I knew she could take her even when she had the crossbow. Like,
and I get that. I get that.
You only get one shot with that crossbow.
That doesn't do anything. But I think with Madame Genet, she knew she was bad. She did. Like. She knew she didn't eat the damn food off the ground. Yep. Like she already knew, this some shit I would do. So I'm going to expect the same shit that I would do, she would do. But she also thought, okay, we two leader bitches here. However, The other one, she thought, okay, madam, she know I need to pay back. I need to kill Daryl. And I'm legit like she is. She thinks we're on the same page. But clearly, I thought she was on the same page with Madame Genet too, but she's not really. Madame Genet don't give a F. And also, you're not going to keep a alpha. You're not going to keep a leader with you.
Oh, no. And I get that. And I
Carol
get
missed
that.
that part. Carol missed that's the one thing Carol missed. I think she's still been consistent. Yeah. She's not on vacation like Daryl is. It's just she just missed the part that you cannot be in the same room with this woman because she would think you would take her over just like you think she would take you over.
And so that's the thing. That's why
I feel like you're gonna do it as a walker.
Yeah, that's why I said I feel like she probably had her guard down just a little bit when it came to Madame Genet, because I think old Carol or older Carol or previous Carol, however you want to phrase it, I think she would have been a little bit more wary of Madame Genet. She probably still would have used the circumstances to get her closer to Daryl, but she would not have been the old Carol would not have been surprised when Madame Genet threw her into that crowd. That's just what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. But however, she was still ready to react. So she was already
always gonna be.
She's already always on 20. Mm-hmm. Well, Daryl come on vacation and he went from 20 to 2. I mean, like, come on, dude.
But that's kind of I won't say that.
He in love in Paris. He in love in Paris. Paris in love.
But again, I won't say that's something that's out of character for Daryl either, if you really think about it, because one of the reasons why Aaron wanted him to go out with them to recruit people to come live in Alexandria was because of Daryl's way with people, because Daryl is a good judge of character. Now, granted, he got a little bit loose here, but also the one thing, like his mistake started at the very beginning when he came across the young woman and the old man. And again, we have to remember, he had been out to sea. We don't know how many days he was floating. We don't know how long he had been there. He had not eaten. He was disoriented. So of course he wasn't going to be at 100%. So we understand that. Everything else, like the thing with Lo Sang, like I think Daryl kind of sniffed that Lo Sang might not be on the up and up, but at the time, Lo Sang wasn't dangerous. And it wasn't that he was being evil. He just had this vision that was, he was being blinded by his faith to believe in something. And I just don't think Daryl understood how far he was willing to take it. And if you think about it, Daryl as a character, we've never seen him show any type of religious inclination before in the show. He probably didn't partake in church and stuff when he was younger, when the world was okay, given what we know about his living circumstances. He may not be familiar with the way people act as far as a cult. You can look at some other situations that they've seen since the world has ended, but again, those are influenced by the way the world ended. So people gonna act a little funny. Lo Sang, for the most part, was on the up and up. I'm trying to save humanity. We're trying to do this. We're trying to do that. It wasn't until you started sending people to try to kill him on the sly that Daryl was like, wait, what the fuck am I missing? You didn't miss anything. It's just that Lo Sang changed because one, he had Jacinta whispering in his ear.
I'm so over her.
And then two, once things started kind of escalating, Lo Sang does what a person does. He starts panicking. He starts making decisions off the fly that maybe aren't the right decisions. I don't think he actually meant to stab Isabel. I think he was just shocked at the fact that she attacked him first.
No, he did. Did you see his face? Because it was like a switch. If you go back and look at that scene, it was like a switch went off, and he was like, his face was straight at first, and then he like, do the little, and then
once he realized what he had done, he was just like, oh well. But I don't think that was his intent. Like I said, when she attacked him, I think at that point, that's where the switch flipped. Because he was like, did she really just attack me?
Yeah, and cut my beautiful face.
And cut my face. So he stabs her. She goes out. She's able to make it out, which again is so interesting to me. Well, I guess because everybody was outside. Nobody stops her. And they probably looked, if they did see her, they probably
because at that point like, the balls had been breached. But at that point, nobody thinking about her. Because he thought he killed her.
No, nobody was.
If you look when she got up, the amount of blood that was on the floor, I just thought she was there too. Yeah. Hell.
But Carol finds her, gets her somewhere kind of sort of safe because one of those walkers is coming after her. And she's just looking. I think at that point, Izzy was like, okay, whatever. Like, what is she going to do? Carol saves her. And then that's when she figures out where Daryl is. In the meantime, you've got one guard on the inside with Daryl. You've got all of these walkers coming towards him. And he's looking like, how the fuck am I finna do this? And Daryl's just like, get these chains off me. Doesn't have to say a word. Just get them off. He goes in one direction with his little thing. He's his Morning Star. He's killing walkers. And then you got somebody at the end of the hallway that's shooting the walkers. And then all of a sudden it's just the two of them. And he runs to her. That run, let me tell you, that facial expression he makes when he finds Carol after a long absence, after when they think that the other one is dead or when they've been upset, that little face that he makes before he bursts into tears, that gets me every time because I'm like, that was Daryl at peak vulnerability. He's looking at her like, oh my God, really she came over here to find me.
He looked like he, you know how you got
yeah, right.
That's it.
Oh, I'm about to say something bad.
What?
What you about to say? Say it. Say it. You can't say that you're gonna say something bad and then
don't say it.
Well,
say it.
I didn't have the feels.
What?
Okay.
No, I didn't.
I'm gonna be honest.
And if I had to rate it, it's like no. I do love. Wait. I was happy that they but like I cry a lot. It didn't even reach.
Same. Like, that was I was the same way, but I think for me it was because
I have cried. But every time I see that scene and I think that was it. I was just more happy they got together because every time I see that scene when he come back from Hilltop after he had to listen to
Easy Street.
Easy as peas and pie, whatever. Yeah. When he came through those gates and he saw them, I could tear up now. Yeah. He made that face cry. I still cry every time I see that scene. But Me this too. Was like, oh, it's happy. I'm happy for them. Okay, so
I felt the same way.
Now we gotta have some conversations. Now I'm like, okay, let's ready to move on. Y'all can stop crying and hugging. Let's go.
And I think for me, it was probably influenced by the fact that, again, I was expecting it to happen by this point. And then you also, I think the emotions of the reunion were somewhat dampened by the fact that you knew Isabel was about to die if she hadn't already died. Like I
really don't care about Isabel and I knew she was going to die. So that didn't even dampen that. And the thing is even with Rick and Rochelle, like, I cried when they got together, and I knew they were gonna get together, and I cried when they got together.
When who?
Because we have been waiting for that for a long time.
Rick and Michonne, I still cried. We knew they were about to get together,
but we weren't expecting it when we got it. So that I think added to the emotion.
I cried for all of the scenes afterwards, still when they were together. But here, I didn't expect it. It had too much other stuff happening. Maybe if Isabel wasn't dying, I really didn't care that she died because I knew that was going to have to happen for this story to move forward.
Yeah.
And I just had no feelings, to be honest with you. I said this before. I really don't have no feelings for her. Maybe I'm just cold inside. I don't know. However, it It just wasn't hitting. Now, the stuff they talked about later, that hit me more.
Yeah.
Like, it hit me more because she basically was like, you moved on from just coming over here? Like, what about the rest of us?
Right.
In so many words.
Yeah. The hard conversations.
Those kind of hard conversations. And him, like, not wanting to leave. So what about the kids that you were pretty much raising where we don't even know where their parents are? But you willing to come over here, not that you willing, but you got kidnapped, and now you all invested in what's happening.
Yeah.
Happening here. So I think that's what I felt more emotional, and then them actually saying, I mean, I love when he does it. He does do that face. Like I felt like they felt the emotion, but it didn't pull my heartstrings. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm kind of there as well. It didn't, I wasn't as emotional as I thought I was going to be when I finally saw them reconnecting. But also, like I said, it's very much, it was almost an exact replay of when they were reunited after Terminus in the woods. So
so that was that's a top. Yeah. That's a top 3 for me.
Right. So it felt like it was something that was supposed to happen. Like if they were that close to each other and then somehow missed each other and then later reunited, I may have had more emotion. But at this point, Daryl is locked up. All the bad guys who were keeping him, they're otherwise occupied. There was literally, and Carol found out where he was because Isabel told him. At this point, there's absolutely no reason whatsoever for them to not reunite. So it was very much when I saw them look at each other, I think I teared up a little bit because of Carol's reaction and just kind of the noise she made, like, oh my God, I actually found him. And Daryl looking at her like, is this real? Because I think that's the thing that got me. He wasn't sure if it was real. And then once he realized she was there and ran to her for the hug, I'm expecting the waterworks and there was nothing. And I was like, does this mean that I don't care? And I was like, no, that's not the case.
No, I'm happy.
I care about them as characters and I care about the reunion. But again,
didn't hit me.
We already knew that when Carol set her mind to coming to France, she was going to find Daryl. We already knew it. From the first episode where she actually made it to France and she immediately found her way to Madame Genet's place, I was like, okay, they got to give us this reunion now. You can't have us go through the whole season and then keep it towards the end. That's not going to work now. So that was expected. And then, like I said, for me, knowing that Daryl was going to have to go outside and deal with Isabel after everything that they had just been through, after her confession. And then again, Daryl is a good one for hoarding guilt. He is a good one for having survivor's guilt. And he probably at some point will think about the things that Lo Sang said about him pulling Isabel away from the faith, away from the belief. And at some point, he's probably going to think that it is his fault that she is dead because she didn't just go along with what Lo Sang said. Now, later on, he'll probably think about it and be like, no, she wouldn't have done that. It's not my fault. But right now, I know that that's what he's about to be hit with when he goes and finds Isabel. And sure enough, they go outside and he's like, hey, we got to go. Izzy is done. Like you can tell, there is no strength left in her,
barely holding
no
on.
life left in her. And she starts, find Laurent, take care of him, tell him that I love him, blah, and all this stuff. And then she dies. I think I was a little bit more emotional about that part because I was like, now Laurent really doesn't have anybody except for Daryl. Well, no, let me stop. He still has Falou, as far as we know, but he's lost everybody that has known him since birth. So I think that got to me a little bit more because I'm like, now he's really going to have to grow up fast we keep talking about the way that he looks at things and the way that he,
But he been having to have to grow up fast.
Yeah.
They didn't want him to grow up the way he need to really grow up to survive this world.
Because they were trying to protect him for whatever this is Lo Zhang had in mind. So yeah. So Izzy is dead. So we've lost Sylvie, we've lost Izzy, we've lost Emil, we've lost all the, really kind of likable characters from the France stuff. So now we got to deal with Lo Zhang and Jacinta and Madame
Genet. I'm gonna reference back to a spin-off or a continuation, Dead City, because ultimately Daryl Dixon did the same thing. We got characters from the beginning and they're dead. However, there's a difference.
Because Daryl Dixon has lasted longer.
Right, and you gave us a little bit more into the character. They didn't have like a couple of lines. Like, we're getting to experience them and feel bad. Isabel not so much, but feel bad when they pass away. I'm just joking, everyone. No, I'm not.
She's not. No, she's not. No,
I thought I was. I was trying to muster. I was trying to muster some feelings for her. I don't have it. I'm sorry, I really don't.
But I mean, like you said, we discussed a few episodes ago that she was gonna have to go.
Right, and I understand if people did, because that's so much better than what they did with Dead City, where people just pop in and then they're dead. But you want to make us feel something, but you didn't give us an opportunity to experience them.
Right.
At least we have experienced them, and now it's Daryl and Carol, because again, when they experience people, they die.
Mm-hmm. This is true, but I was like, at this point, Madame Genet, her life is numbered. And I don't mean days, I don't mean weeks. At this point now, Daryl is about to go find her, because even as they're leaving Mont Saint Michel in flames, she's telling him, she was like, I have a way for us to get back home, a pilot that's going to take us back to Paris. Daryl is not paying any attention. Oh, all these people will be happy to have you back. Are you listening to me? And Daryl's like, look, I'm about to go kill somebody. And that's when he's like, she's asking him all these questions. She was I take it you knew her pretty well. She was talking about taking care of somebody. Who is she talking about? Daryl like, look, we got to go this way, because we got to go fight. So he's already pissed off. Now, if he had just stayed where he was, he probably could have taken care of Madame Genet and Lo Zhang together, because Madame Genet does come in, talk to Lo Zhang. And I was like, you got two birds right there. You got Carol and Daryl. Just go ahead and take care of them. But I understand Daryl was looking for Laurent first. He was like, I got to go find him, because as far as he knows, Laurent is in the woods somewhere. But of course, when they get to the woods, Laurent and Falou are not there. They're gone. He does know that Laurent has been to the cave because he has the Rubik's Cube. Laurent left it back, left it there for him. So now they've got to go and try to find Laurent and Falou, because at this point now, Daryl's not going to be like, okay, I'm just going to go home now. Carol has a friend with a plane. We're just going to go home.
No, he's not.
He's got to let Laurent know, one, that Izzy is gone. And now he feels personally responsible to make sure that Laurent is safe. Especially now that you have Genet and Lo Zhang looking for him.
And I wouldn't want him to abandon. I wouldn't want him to just leave. Mm-hmm. That is not Daryl. So for me, it's the right thing to do. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the right thing to do. And Carol, you should even know, like, if he's been helping and he's been here and he's involved, and this woman is dying in his arms saying, please take care of Laurent. Like, that's Daryl's character, is to take care, like, of them.
And he's not going to go nowhere until he makes sure he do what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, this is the start of the Daryl and Carol field trip, where they go in search of Laurent. And of course, they find an old couple who has been living on a farmhouse, just peacefully together.
Hold on. Before we even get there. I want to say this. Let me get close so you can hear me. The payoff for the came back was some bullshit. On their little walk when they was going on their way there.
Okay.
I was so mad. I said, what?
Okay.
What?
So about that, and what if, for those of y'all listening, if you didn't understand what Casey was talking about, while Daryl and Carol are walking, they're having conversations about different things. He's asking her about, so you just up and left, came to look for me, and they're talking about those things. He asks her, he says, what were you talking about on the radio? You said something about somebody came back. And she said, oh, I was just talking about this feeling that I had. I looked at the TV screen like, what the fuck?
Said, bitch.
Girl,
I was that is like, not the payoff I wanted. I thought you were going to say Morgan. Like, a person came back.
Okay, so
a feeling.
She very well could have still meant to say that somebody returned, but because of what Daryl is trying to do, she just played it off. Because if Daryl is really focused on finding who Laurent is, he hasn't even really told her at this point who Laurent is. So if she's like, okay, if he's really determined to find this person and save this person and do whatever, finish this out, maybe I don't need to distract him right now. Because that explanation, I was just, whatever I was feeling, it was just there. I started having funny feelings again, like something that, no.
That was the worst explanation ever.
It just
hated it.
It doesn't make sense. I think she's hiding something.
Do you?
I mean, you got to admit, it's not, that's a Carol thing to do.
I don't think she's hiding nothing, though.
I don't think so either.
Because that's her best friend. She's going to tell him,
yeah,
no matter what. Remember, she used to go out in the middle of the woods and tell him everything was going on when he reclused himself. So she was still going out there checking on him and telling him the updates of everything.
Yeah, but
I don't think it's Rick and Michonne that she's talking about.
I don't know if I want to say it's Rick and Michonne because, again, one, that would be too important.
Yeah.
Two, if she had the helicopters, the CRM helicopters at her disposal, then she probably would have gone home to get those, or she would have at least radioed and said, hey, I just found out Daryl was put on a boat to France. I need y'all to come help me. Something. But again, we've mentioned this before. As much as Rick probably said, I'm not going anywhere else once I get home, this is Daryl. This is his brother. Ain't no way in hell he would have just sat there and let Carol go find Daryl by herself across seas, especially if he knew what was going on. There's no way. And furthermore, Judith ain't finna let that happen.
Right.
So, I mean, Judith was the one who told her mama, go find my daddy, go bring him home. Yeah, right. It took 2 years, but you did what I told you to do.
Not yet. It took you 2 years.
But okay, so we'll just let that sit for a minute. I'm just gonna say I don't think she was being truthful with him when she said it was just a feeling she had. I think there's something else going on. And we'll just have to see. Carol does hold on to secrets. Sometimes she holds them from Daryl too. So we'll just have to see. But I want to talk about this old couple. Because again, we know that when our people show up,
somebody gonna die.
Somebody gonna die.
Even though you have the best intentions.
Right. But again, just like we said with the other circumstance, these folks, well, I won't say both of them. The lady didn't have it coming. The husband or the boyfriend, he definitely did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice that y'all took them in and gave them a car and fed them and all this other stuff. But this couple, it was one of those things where I was like, okay, so what's the whole purpose of introducing us to this couple? Then we find out, okay, so this couple housed Laurent and Falou, gave them access to a vehicle or helped them find a vehicle so that they can go to Paris. Okay. So while they're there, oh yes, Laurent mentioned us to you. They start calling Carol Sister Isabel because they think she's Isabel. And then the wife keeps making all of these references to Isabel and Daryl. And, oh, Laurent said that you loved her and blah, blah, blah. And she's giving Carol advice and all this other stuff. I said, okay. I said, so what the show is trying to do now is they're trying to show us that there might be more to Carol and Daryl. I need y'all to stop. Because
they definitely thought she was Isabel. Like that's what I got. I'm saying, and that's immediately what I thought.
And I get that. But once they are there, everything that she is telling Carol is based on observations. She's looking at their body language. She's looking at how they're acting around each other. And she is making her own assumptions about the way they feel for each other. And I was like, okay, here the show goes again, trying to tell us. That. But you didn't get the Isabel and Daryl stuff too, so I ain't listening to you.
Okay, Isabel and Daryl was forced. Like
that's what I'm saying. I feel like they're trying to do that same thing with Carol and Daryl. They're putting out all of these little feelers, like, oh yeah, there's something there. They do have feelings for each other. Blah 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 blah.
I don't see that at all. Maybe I was looking wrong.
You're looking at the wrong show because they are.
I did. That's why I text you guys because I was like, wait a second, I'm confused. I had to rewatch the scene a few times because I'm like, y'all are trying to hint at something we just spoke about, and it's not there. Yeah. I have not seen that one time they were star-crossed lovers and they missing each other in the night.
But the old lady is reading them like that.
No. Because she's reading the other type of love, everyone.
Better be.
Okay.
I didn't see it. I didn't feel it. I
have never, in all of these years, I'm going to keep throwing my hands up. In all of these years, have I seen it? Until right now. We're not doing that right now. Even
for the original show, I never, when people were trying to ship them, I didn't see it there. Either.
Right.
Like, stop trying to force, like, him and Connie, that was there. No questions.
Flirtation there. I can see them.
And absolutely.
Sorry.
But anybody else, I have not seen that.
No. Now I've seen Carol with other people in my head, but not Daryl.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't see those two together romantically either. And even like, so it's interesting with Daryl and Carol because obviously they are best friends. They've obviously been through a lot of stuff together. They've had their backs with each other, but also at the same time, they butt heads so much. And I was like, I'm sorry, even if this was a romantic pairing, I don't see y'all arguing all the time. Even this, you've been gone for how long? This woman came all the way overseas to find you. And y'all are still arguing, quote unquote, like an old married couple. I get that. But I'm like, can y'all just not have a moment of peace within y'all and be like, oh, I'm so glad that we found each other again? Can we just have that? Y'all got to be sniping at each other and just making it's tiring. And that's one of the reasons why I don't ship them. And it could be, okay, again, we don't see the pairing. If other people see it, I'm not going to discount that. There are obviously people who see it, just like there are people who don't see Rick and Michonne. There are people who don't see Connie and Daryl. There are people who actually do see Maggie and Negan. Okay, everybody looks at things a little bit differently. And I know that has to do with also what we are attracted to, what appeals to us. So everybody's going to have their versions of what it is. Okay, fine. But I don't want to look at Daryl and Carol arguing all the time. And if you think back to a lot of their scenes together, a lot of their experiences together, they argue just about as much as they are not arguing. And it's tiring. It's exhausting. Like right now, y'all should not be arguing about anything. Y'all should be trying to find a way to get this car going, go find Laurent, so y'all can go the fuck home.
You should be happy that your motherfucking best friend found a way from America. To France.
To find your ass.
You should be doing
never gave up.
Never.
And you still like you're being so focused. And again, I understand. You just went through something traumatic. You have somebody that you feel responsible for, that you need to go find. And then you have all these people who keep saying stuff. I mean, even with Daryl and Carol, like they're having conversations. She was like, you loved her. You cared about her. She's important to you, but blah, blah, blah. You didn't think to come home and like, will you, ma'am, do you even have the whole story yet? Why you sit here like you just decided to stay in France? What else was he going to do? Because guess what? Genet was controlling all of the boats in Paris.
And I was just going to say, he didn't have no plane.
Didn't nobody have a plane. And at this point, he's just really trying to stay alive because you got this man who is trying to hunt him for reasons he don't know. So it was just, as much as I like seeing them together again, and I like their dynamic when they're getting along, the little pettiness between them right now, it's irritating me. Y'all ain't got time for this. Y'all got shit to do. And then you need to go the fuck home.
Be mad later. Be mad later.
Right. Be mad later. Be mad when you get back to the Commonwealth. Be mad because if y'all are acting like this, and then you still got to deal with the fact that what the fuck you finna tell Ash when you walk up with this grown ass man and not your grown daughter. Like, there's too many other things that you need to worry about. Right. Not to mention the fact that you got people who are looking for you because Daryl escaped and Madame Genet knows that Carol escaped. Y'all got y'all got other things to be worried about than to be fighting.
A whole lot of other things.
So that was kind of irritating to me. And then, like I said, with the old woman and the old man making like the different little remarks to them about their relationship and about this and about that, I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm done. I'm tired. I'm done because I watch Carol and Daryl for the camaraderie, for the fact that they both accept each other for whatever they are going through at the time. They help each other through their trauma. They don't force the other person to do anything except for, I have to say it, earlier in the years when Carol was going through her stuff and she was like, oh, I don't want to kill anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. Because I'm going to admit, during those times in The Walking Dead, those are the times I was on another podcast at the time and we talked about The Walking Dead. I can remember clearly, okay, it's time for Carol to be gone from this story because it's too much. Now, as the years go by and I look at her character a bit more, again, I realize she's dealing with a whole bunch of repressed trauma. There are things that she probably has never properly dealt with. We see it again with the whole quote unquote barn door in this episode when she's going in with the old lady to get stuff and she's looking at the barn and she finally admits to the old lady that she lost a daughter. Now that should have clicked with the old lady like, oh wait, you're a nun and you had a daughter? That should have clicked with her like, oh, you might not be Isabel, but maybe the old lady was just like, okay, look, they haven't done anything bad to us.
Yeah, I was gonna say at that point it don't even matter.
Right. And then you could still had a kid, lost it, and then became a nun.
I No, but for the most part, we don't think about that.
But true. But I'm going to go back to something again. It's bad to say. Here we go. This her having issues with the barn is bothering me too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess I would be okay if we saw it somewhat over the years.
But I think that's the whole point. She has repressed all of this.
I get it. I totally do. Like I totally do. I got the mental health thing. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like the way it's written is more of a
like they're pulling on our heartstrings.
That, and then they're trying to set something up or whatnot. I don't know exactly what they're trying to do, but could have did it just a tad bit differently.
I thought of it more so like, number one, like how do I say it more is repressed. The fact that she now is using Sophia as this cover of this is why I'm going to Paris. Like it's now bringing it to the forefront where things are like, okay, well, shit. You know what I'm saying? Although when she met Ash and he put her in a barn, that's when she kind of had the first one. That was before the story even came about. But now, even more so now, because I've used my little girl and the hopes and dreams of what I wish for her is now prominent. Has she survived? That would give you a little bit of trauma,
right? It would have, and I totally get it because that happens. I guess just the way they wrote it, I really just I don't know. Like again, we talked about it. I don't think it should have been the barn. I really think it should have been when she went in there and saw all the things that man had for his son, and that you don't even have that for your baby.
Yeah.
I can see that then it starts to creep, you know what I'm saying, to creep in. But the way they're doing it of just, because I guess you have to have it visually for us. The barn is something visual. It's really for us.
Yeah. And I was going to say, and the barn is something that everybody remembers.
Right. And I guess that's what, like, don't worry about us. Make it where it is real and that it's closing in on her. And sometimes it may not even be the barn, but other things. The Rubik's Cube could have done it to her when he was pulling out of the cave.
Well, when she was in Ash's greenhouse and she played the music box, she was crying.
Yeah, but I mean that's what I'm saying. That would have been the time to like start it all. You see what I'm saying? Because she had that time and she's like, you know what? I've lost my real child. I even lost Henry. And those things come back, and then it's the barn, and it's just other little things that just makes her think of her daughter.
Yeah, I get
it. They wrote it that way. It's just how they writing it. Like you put it in there, and you're not just taking the time and care for it. Right. Because you need Carol to go through this.
Right.
That's how I'm feeling.
Right. So, I think the other thing that's kind of weird about this whole, I guess, Daryl and Carol reunion is how long it's taking certain things to come up in the conversation. Like, you've been on the road with Carol. Y'all have been at these people's house. And it's not until y'all are back in the house after the Madame Genet soldiers have been to the house looking for them. Y'all come in the bedroom. Now Carol is just now giving him the little doll from Judith. Now you are just asking how Judith is. That to me doesn't seem, it seems weird because I would feel like, yeah, Daryl has this responsibility over here in France, but this is Judith. That should have been one of the first questions out of Daryl's mouth before they went anywhere. Are the kids okay? Especially when they're having conversation in the woods and he's like, so you just decided to come up on a whim and look for me and find me here? You didn't say anything about, so what about the kids? Who's watching the kids? Are the kids okay? Is everybody? None of that conversation. Y'all wait until they've been at this people's house, what, a day, 2 days? And now you're asking, how is Judith? How is she? That just, it just doesn't seem right to me.
That part.
It doesn't seem right to me. So
or even also throw in RJ.
Huh?
Also throw in RJ. Like, you also been there. You that boy like stepdaddy.
Right.
Step in dad. Come on now, help me.
So it's just weird to me that you're leaving out what is, I feel like, all of these vital topics of conversation. Granted, he probably didn't think about it because when they were leaving the nest, Carol said something about, all these people are missing you. And she mentioned RJ, she mentioned Judith, she mentioned Connie. She was like, yeah, we miss you. Everybody's been worried about you. Again, that should have been a question. Is everybody okay?
Mm-hmm.
And again, you're dealing with trauma right now. Your girl, your friend, your whatever she was to you just died. I'm assuming he knows that Lo Sang killed her, because even if it wasn't told outright, Lo Sang was the one who led her out.
Yeah, who took her out.
So he has to know Lo Sang was the one who killed her. So I know he's focused on that. He's focused on trying to find Laurent. But still, these are your people. You have literally been there with Judith and RJ since birth.
Mm-hmm.
These are other people who you care about, who love you. And again, going back to that line he dropped earlier in the show, I'm just wondering if the people back home are thinking about me.
And now somebody there and you ain't asking about nobody.
Ain't asked not a goddamn thing up until all this stuff. But no,
that could have been on y'all walk. Y'all could talk about that on the walk.
Right.
So I don't know. This episode was it's one of those things where it's kind of weird for me, because again, I love the fact that they did reunite, but it's like you reunite and then you go back to the way things were before. Like, you didn't know, like, you wasn't just thinking whether or not this man was dead for 6 months or however long he's been gone. And you just didn't think that you would be reunited with your people because you've been stuck in France for it's just weird. And I know I use that word a lot. It's weird.
But it is,
it's very out of character.
It
just seems strange. And even though they've been apart for a while, there is also kind of like a natural flow to the way Carol and Daryl are together. And you see that once Madame Genet's people come back to the house, because when they have to hide, they're on one accord. Okay, you go do this, I go do this. Like, bam, 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 they're in sequence. When it comes to being upstairs and Madame Genet actually finds Carol and she's about to shoot Carol and Daryl comes in, the back and forth, like, they're very synchronized when it comes to certain things. So again, the back and forth with them, the pettiness in this episode, when y'all haven't seen each other in however long, it threw the vibe of the whole episode off for me. I'm not saying y'all got to be lovey-dovey with each other. I'm not saying y'all have to be like tiptoeing around each other being nice. But come on now.
Act like you missed each other.
Right. Yeah. That's the whole thing. And I feel, part of me feels like they have them acting in that way to kind of contrast this whole conversation that's been happening with the two older people. And, oh yeah, we think your sister Isabel, we think you're the person that Daryl loves, because Laurent told us that y'all love each other, but y'all just don't know how to express it. Or rather, I guess Izzy might have said something, but Daryl of course hasn't. And I just feel like because they keep pushing this with the old people, oh yeah, you guys love each other and this is how y'all should act and da 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 da, yeah, old man is not my husband, but when I was alone and I was by myself and then I found love again and blah, blah, blah. And it's like she's trying to tell Carol that this is something Carol can do. Excuse me, Sister Isabel. This is something she can do as well with that. It was just too much. It was too much. Y'all trying to force this little thing. And then y'all got them acting like they pissed off at each other. Y'all only seen each other in 6 months. Y'all ain't did nothing to be pissed off at each other about. Okay. So come on. But anyway, Madame Genet ends up finding them because the first time her soldiers came around, the couple gave them like some food and stuff to get them off the grounds. But apparently the dude, the old guy, told her soldiers, yeah, they're here, come back. They're supposed to leave tomorrow. Distracted them with some truffle eggs, which I've never heard of truffle eggs. So now I need to look them up and see what they are and whether or not they are really as good as they taste, because they were making it seem like this was gold on the plate. Carol and Daryl were both impressed. Madame Genet ended up eating some, and she was like, ooh, truffle eggs. I was like, what the fuck is a truffle egg? I don't know. But Madame Genet. So, ooh. Did we not say that as soon as Carol set foot in France, Madame Genet's days are numbered? And we also said that Carol was going to have to be the one to kill Genet and Daryl was going to be the one to kill Losane. That's what we were saying when we were talking about them. And Carol most definitely held up her end of the bargain, because when I say I was not expecting that to happen to Madame Genet when Carol shot the serum into her back and shot it in a place where she couldn't remove it.
So she couldn't do the Carol thing where you just...
No, and she didn't have on a leather jacket.
No, it went right through the skin.
Right through. Her eyes.
But it's the best way for her to die.
It is. It very much is. She definitely earned that death.
Yeah, she did. It was great.
But I was just...
It'll be later, though, but it was great.
It was.
It was. I wasn't expecting that to happen to her.
Right, not so soon.
Right.
No. The reaction of the serum. I wasn't expecting that to happen. Her whole face damn near exploded. I said,
right. It did.
Because you would think, but then again, they probably weren't thinking that far. They were just like, okay, we need to figure out how to make this serum to make these walkers, weapons that we can control, because that was what she said at the beginning of the episode. That was what they were working on.
But they weren't looking for they weren't looking for the result it would have on live people.
Right. Because if that was the case, y'all would have done something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because that was not the way to go. I know she felt pain in every single part, but at the same time, I was like this. I said, it had to be Carol to kill her. And I know we were talking about, was it the last episode or 2 episodes ago, when we were like, why didn't Daryl just kill her? Oh, no, it was the first episode. We were like, Daryl could have just shot her and been done with it. And I had to sit here and think, aside from Leah, because she was trying to kill Maggie, has Daryl killed another woman before? Because Daryl might be one of those people that's like, I'm not going to hit a woman, I'm not going to shoot a woman, that sort of thing. And maybe that was why he hesitated with Madame Genet. But I was sitting here thinking, I was like, I know he killed Leah, but Leah was literally on top of Maggie about to kill her. But I can't think of any other instance where Daryl killed a woman, like a live woman, maybe a walker, yeah. But I can't think of any other instance. Can you?
Did he not kill any of the
trash people?
The trash people, and also I can't think of their names right now.
He didn't kill who?
The skin wearing ones.
The Whisperers.
The Whisperers. He didn't kill any Whisperers?
Not any women Whisperers that I can think of.
How do we know when it was in that big group and they were just killing people?
I don't know, but I mean, maybe he did. No, then, of course, they had the mask on, so he wouldn't have known if they were women or not.
He just was killing.
But but if you think about it, like him face to face with somebody, with the people that he fights, killing, I don't think he's ever killed a woman before. So that would explain.
He has probably in a large group, but you talking about combat? Probably no, because he normally gets in combat with men, and
hold on,
women normally don't like take him on.
Right.
Again, I want to say, like, I love it when people get the death they deserve.
Yes.
Because you did that to people. So you end up getting injected with your own serum.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
And the even more poetic part is, I know you say she did it to people, but she killed the people first to do that to them. So the fact that she got it when she was alive.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. She deserved. You still killed people.
Mm-hmm.
And she felt everything. And then when she looked in the mirror and saw herself turning, I was like,
that was so cool. That was so cool. I was like, yes, go ahead and see the monster that you're about to become. Because when I say you deserve it, you deserve it. And both Daryl and Carol looking at her like, ew, we didn't know it was going to be like they didn't know. But so, like my screen name says, Ding Dong, the witch is dead. One down, one to go. Because again, you killed Isabel. Losane got to die.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because now you taking your mission to a whole other level, even when you're saying it towards the end, because once Madame Genet's people go back and they tell Losane that, you know, Genet is dead, they tell Jacinta, and he's like, oh, she went after the boy and now she's dead, because they had that conversation, him and Madame Genet, because she was like, yeah, God's gonna be on my side because I'm gonna go find him and I'm gonna kill him and blah blah blah. So they're both thinking this, and then of course now she dies, so he thinks, oh, she went after him and now she's dead. That shows God is on our side. I was like, no, that shows God ain't got around to you yet, because what you doing is some deranged shit too.
No, God on Daryl's side.
How about this? How about he on Laurent's side? Let's put it like that. But so now you come in, they let you free because they're saying your way doesn't work, our way doesn't work. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna go together. And now we're gonna search for this boy. All is forgiven and da da da. And I was like, you know what? You about to die too. Because not only are you really believing in your own bullshit, you're preaching this to your followers. So now your followers, they're gonna sit here and think, oh yeah, well, you know, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna join with the what is it, pouvoir de vivant, and we're gonna go get Laurent back, and he's gonna be our leader. He's gonna do. I was like, you know what? Did y'all not even remember that this man was about to let a walker bite Laurent just to prove his point? I was like, okay, you know what? At this point,
totally missed that part.
All of y'all can die at this point.
Because y'all following this man blindly, like,
right?
Oh yeah, let's kill someone for the sake of
kill a perfectly good human. Excuse me. Let's kill a perfectly good child.
Yeah.
And he can be our leader and he can lead us into the future and blah, 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 blah. It would be fine if y'all had this little fanatic obsession with him if y'all weren't trying to kill him. And I understand things like this. There's always a sacrifice, whatever. I don't believe in that shit. Leave Laurent the fuck alone.
But I'm sorry. At this point, with knowing that Daryl and Carol show up, and number one, Laurent is always safe, but everybody associated with trying to harm them get fucked up. Why would you continue to go after them? I'm sorry. Oh, they went. So and so went after them. Oh, they did. So and so went after them. Oh, they did. So and so went after. They did. Our people went after them.
Not reading the room.
Read the fucking room.
They are not.
Because everybody that goes after them die.
Right. How many times has Madame Genet tried to kill Daryl? And who ended up dead?
A few times.
Even though they don't know that it was Carol, but still they know the Americans are together. So one of them motherfuckers killed her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But most likely Daryl, because they know Daryl. They know everybody know the American Daryl.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody know the American Daryl.
Yeah,
y'all American Carol at this point.
Because I mean, but again, then I think of common sense, because here's the thing. Okay, yeah, Daryl, he's the American, he's the one that's been thwarting everybody's plans and doing this and doing that. This bitch came from across the sea. She found a way to get to Paris to come and rescue her BFF. That's the one y'all need to be worried about, because that's the one that probably ain't got her screws in tight. She got on a plane 12 years into a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that.
And came to Paris to look for her bestie. That's the woman y'all don't want to fuck with. And Madame Genet found that out the hard way. I'm telling you.
They ain't gonna find out the hard way too.
He gonna find out the hard way.
No.
What was it you said, Casey? You said that's gonna be a good fight because Losang gonna have his little toothpick.
Yeah,
we're gonna have his whatever. So yeah, that's coming either next episode or the episode after that, because that has to be a thing now. Because not only did you keep me prisoner and you tortured me, but now you done kill Isabel, regardless of how Daryl felt about her, whether he loved her or not. That was still a friend. That was still somebody. He may not have loved her romantically, but he loved her. That was his friend. That was somebody he grew to trust. Mm-hmm. And you killed her, trying to kill her nephew. Daryl is about to get that ass. He is about to beat that ass.
He need to.
And I'm ready for it.
I'm going to be like this. Watching.
With popcorn. Sitting there looking. Because that's the only thing you can do now.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you can do. So, Losang got it coming. He had it coming. He had it coming. Just like she did.
She did. And it was marvelous.
It was great. I was like, oh, look at these.
It was gross as hell.
I mean, that part too. But you know what also made me stop and think, when is these people gonna get up and be walkers? Because some of them didn't get shot in the head. What's taking so long?
Where, you mean at the nest?
No, I'm talking about the house. Some of her stuff.
I figured when they buried the old girl, they probably went through and made sure everybody was dead.
Okay. Yeah.
But still, I thought somebody would turn. Like, even though I thought old girl was gonna turn because he been sitting there hugging her, it took her a while.
Well, think about it, because most of the times when regular humans die, remember, it kind of varies how quick they turn.
It does. So it does vary. So I assume that couple of the, soldiers would have gotten up. I'm just saying it's a couple, but
I know Carol are there. They took care of it.
It don't play. It doesn't play with the emotions that we were going with. So I know that
they took care of it. They took care of it.
Because remember on Fear when fuck is his name? I want to say Terry. I know that ain't his name. But when when they were killing the people and timing them, Troy, that's his name. When they were killing the people and timing them in the early seasons. Mm-hmm. So, it took them about 10-15 minutes to turn.
Yeah. And then you have some who turn a lot quicker than that. So yeah, but I would assume they went through the house because they were like, yeah, this is something we don't need to do. And even though I feel like I will say this. No, because Daryl probably would have done it too. If it wasn't for the fact that they actually liked the old lady and they stayed to bury her, they probably would have left that man in the house with all the walkers. Like, you know what? You deserve it. You brought this on yourself. But at the same time, he was trying to protect the woman. Mm-hmm. And even if Daryl and Carol had left the village, Genet's soldiers probably would have kept coming back. And again, if they've been living there in peace for however many years they've been there together, they probably were like, look, let's just give them what they're looking for. They will leave us alone. They will know that we are loyal. We are not harboring criminals or fugitives or whatever, and they'll leave us alone. So I think that was really his motivation. He just wanted to be left alone with the woman he loved for however long they had. And unfortunately, when you double cross Daryl and Carol, that shit does not work out for you. So
It don't even matter if you double cross or not. If they enter your lives, it's over.
So yeah, they show up, Michelle.
They just show up, and you're like, oh, it's my time to go. I just don't know when.
They obviously wasn't paying attention because Madame Genet should have understood. Like, how many times have you tried to get Daryl at this point? How many times have you?
Well, after you saw that small little old lady, she's not really old, but when you saw that old little lady duck behind, you didn't see her duck behind the big man, but when you see her sprint to the Jeep, you should have known something.
Right.
Not easy to kill.
Y'all shot her in the shoulder with one of your serum arrows or darts. And she took that shit out her shoulder like it wasn't nothing. And was like, oh, this what y'all want to do? I got you, bet. And ran to the car. And not only that, all your soldiers and all that high-tech machinery, y'all couldn't shoot her not once. Y'all couldn't even graze a leg. Like, that should have told you right then and there, okay, you know what? We don't want to fuck with her.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to leave her alone. And look, oh, she's going to go to Daryl so she can lead us to him. That's what they should have done. They should have just been like, okay, you know what? Let's just go. But of course, they had their walkers. The walkers were running. They were going straight to the nest. They were following Carol and Codron. So I guess they were like, okay, you know what? The walkers will finish what we started, because there really isn't too many ways that they can get off of Mont Saint Michel. And then Codron, you know, he gets off when Carol frees him. He goes and he's like, yeah, I'll hold them off for you. Tell Dixon I did it for the boy. I was like, okay. So maybe Codron didn't make it, but maybe he did. Who knows? But he has clearly turned to Daryl's side. And I hope him and Daryl get to have that conversation. And they can have that, you know, so why have you been trying to kill me for the last 6 months? Oh, because you killed my brother. What makes you think I killed your brother? Oh,
or no, who is your brother?
Right, that too.
Yeah, at that part, like, what?
But then once he finds
so many people at this point.
Oh no, that girl and the grandpa killed her, because maybe once Codron finds out, he'll feel justified because he did kill the old man. I think he let the girl go, if I remember correctly. But you did kill the old man, so you did get vengeance for your brother in some way.
You just didn't know it.
So let's hope that he survives so they can at least have that conversation. But I kind of feel like this too. If Codron has survived, if he decides to stay with Daryl and Carol as far as like trying to fight the newly formed, I don't know, Pouvoir de Vivant, whatever they call Union of Hope, whatever that combination is, I don't know if he's going to survive, because again, they're moving to Spain for the 3rd season. We don't know where the storyline is going, but is Codron really going to leave France? Well, I guess at this point, he really has no reason to stay in France, if you think about it. Because his brother's gone. Most of his men are gone. The person that he was employed by, she's dead. Her people are now joined with Lausanne. And if Codron is all about, oh, I believe in Laurent, he's not going to follow them because they're trying to kill Laurent.
Right. So
maybe we'll escape this season with one person from the show to go into the next season.
One person.
Because everybody else dead. We already know Lausanne is about to die.
Look, Ash, because you need a pilot.
That's well, yeah, and Ash, but Ash started in the States, so I'm talking about the French people. We'll
nobody.
have
nobody.
You don't think Codron gonna make it?
No, the nest already on fire.
He probably got away.
But I'm saying that sanctuary is on fire. Like, how you gonna fix that?
Well, I mean, Lausanne and them are still there because that's where they were meeting.
Yeah, but okay,
so
they probably on fire.
They probably put the fires out.
And now that Madame Genet gone, oh, you know what they say when the hens away, the fox will play. Oh, please, that's about to be chaos up in there. Who gonna run that? Because who gonna run that? They gonna think they, with
they already got Losang in charge. The way he came out when what's her name released him, and he came out to speak to his followers, and he was like, everything is forgiven. We're gonna do blah blah blah. Yeah, you about to be the big bad, and Daryl's gonna whoop your ass sometime within the next 2 episodes. You either gonna be beat real bad or you're gonna die, and I think you're gonna die because Daryl is gonna be pissed off because you killed Isabel and you left Laurent alone. So yeah,
right,
left him with no family now, no security, no people to protect him. You took the closest thing he had to family. You took his aunt and you took the person who he grew up with as his sister.
Yeah.
So yeah, Losang is about to die. He about to die. He about to die.
You gonna die today.
You gonna die today. So we have 2 episodes left.
Just 2
for the season. And then I believe Daryl Dixon season 3 should come out next year, because one thing about the Daryl Dixon show, we have not been getting long hiatuses with this show, because the first season released last year right around Dragon Con. This season released, right after Dragon Con in September. So we may get the 3rd season by next fall if they keep on track. I do know that Dead City is supposed to start sometime in 2025. And then Michelle, stop with that face. Stop with that face. Stop with that face. We gonna see what it do. But I think we'll get Daryl Dixon probably in the fall, especially since, if I'm not mistaken, I think either they've wrapped or they're close to wrapping, because they've been filming season 3 for a minute. So
I wonder if we'll get more than 6 episodes.
They're not going to give us more than 6 episodes. 6 episodes seems to be the standard now, because even with shows that are coming out on other streaming platforms, like one of the shows that we are planning to cover on this podcast is the Dune Prophecy series on Max, which is based on the Dune story. I checked yesterday, that only has 6 episodes.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. No, I think that one has 8. That one may have 8.
But even still, that's short.
Short season.
We used to 12 episode seasons.
Yeah, or even 23, but that's network TV. So I don't know, but I have seen some articles lately where there have been people talking about the shorter seasons and the long hiatuses, and they're like, y'all wonder why people don't pay attention to shit anymore. And then you got streaming companies like Netflix who are canceling right and left after one season. Like, y'all aren't even giving the shows a chance. Why would you put so much money into 8 episodes, 10 episodes, and then not give it a chance to flourish? I think all shows should have a 2-season minimum, at least. Because you might not get the viewers you want with the first season, but then you have you do a second season, that might be where you get your audience. Or kind of like some of these other one season shows. Firefly is a perfect example. You cancel it after one season because you think it's bad, and here it is 50 million years later, people still are into Firefly. So I don't know, but next fall, I hope we get the Daryl Dixon season 3.
Yes.
I don't know what they're gonna do with Madrid, but again, it's gonna have to be something about them trying to escape France, and something happens. Maybe Ash's plane die.
The
plane die.
I don't know.
Maybe the plane runs out of fuel again. Maybe he didn't fix the fuel line properly, or maybe, oh no. This is gonna be the real kicker. So if Daryl finds Laurent, finds Falou, Falou may not leave France, but Daryl will probably take Laurent with him to the States because that's what him and Isabel were talking about, going to the States.
Right.
I don't think 4 people can fit in Ash's plane.
Well, Ash can't die because he's the only one who knows how to fly the plane.
Right. So he can't die.
Unless Laurent has magical powers.
No, I don't think so.
He can't die till season 3.
And I told you that Ash is going to come back in season 3 with a kid and a wife because he's been sitting there with that plane and he met a woman that had a kid.
After 2
We're just going to see him at the
end of the
I'm talking about at the end of the series. Go back to the plane, and he gonna have a wife and kid.
He gonna go back to Greenland.
Ain't nobody left, at least not that we know of. So, okay.
So we have to keep him, honestly. But if he dies, we need someone who knows how to fly a plane. Or a boat.
Right. That's what I was going to say. A boat because, Lo Sang is still there. Madame Genet's people are still there. So they probably still have control of the boats. But, I mean.
When this is over, they can get on the boat.
Yeah.
They're not going to get on the plane.
They can't, not with 4 people. So that means either somebody in the group has to die, which means it'll probably end up being Laurent, or.
No, he's not going to die. We're not killing. Well, we do kill kids.
Or it's going to have to be the only other real option would be Carol. Because if there's a season 3 of Daryl Dixon, you're not going to kill Daryl Dixon.
If you kill Carol.
You can't kill Ash because Ash is the pilot.
No, you can't kill Ash because they can go home with other options. So Ash can die. Ash can die.
But I'm looking at the more immediate option. I'm talking about if they are talking about using the plane, if they're still talking about using the plane. It's not going to work with the 4 of them because Ash flew that plane there thinking they were going to pick up 12 years from now. Sophia probably would have been at the very least, she would have been 2021. 2021, maybe 19. Because I don't remember how old she was when she died, but she and Carl were somewhere around the same age. So she had to be somewhere between like 8 and 11. Because I think Carl was supposed to be like right around 8 or 9 when we met him. So, yeah, you're expecting to have, bring this woman. She's not gonna weigh a lot. Just thinking default wise, you're probably thinking slim build. Carol is not a big person. So Sophia might have taken after her. She would have been slim build. She would have been slight. She would have been light, not too heavy. You can fly with the 3 of those on that plane. You can't get somebody of Daryl's size and Laurent and Carol and Ash on that plane. Nope. So either y'all don't take the plane and all of y'all leave, or somebody takes the plane and either somebody dies or someone gets left behind. Maybe that's how they end up in Spain because they're like, okay, well, you go on the plane. We're going to go this. There's so many possibilities, but all 4
or maybe they all try to fit and they all try to fit and they don't as far as they get in Spain.
Yeah, that's possible.
That could be, yeah.
I agree to that.
It'll just be low flying, get you up high enough to be out of danger. But
the end,
we ain't gonna go far.
The end, I think Laurent will go back to the States and he will try to spit some game with Judith and she's going to be like, no, that don't work. But we could be cousins. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Not spit game.
Because we're not going to kill Laurent. I mean, we're really not. And if you kill Carol, I'm like done.
Yeah, I don't think Carol will die either.
You can't go. Okay, first of all.
I can't.
It would cause if you kill either one of them.
Right.
Period. They survived this too long. And for her to get all the way to Paris, go through everything she went through to get that, just kill her.
Right. And I said that in the last episode, but
because at the end, they have to make it back to the Commonwealth. And whatever that looks like. Their final season, last episode, same way, goddamn, the ones who live, you got to make it back to the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
So be fucking for real. They ain't gonna kill off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
So again,
they may be worse for the wear, but they gonna make it.
Yeah, but they can't put all them people on the plane. So
we just gotta get home a different way. We just gotta get home a different way.
But you can't drive from Spain to America.
No, but they can. I mean, we don't know what's going on in other countries, so we don't know what Spain may have access to. We don't know what the situation is there. So, just like in France, they did everything with boats and they have a lot of boats. They might have planes in Spain, and the people in Madrid were probably like, yeah, if this is what it looked like here, we're not going nowhere else in the world. We don't care about them. We're just going to keep our shit to ourselves. They could very well do that. So I don't know. I think we'll probably be better able to figure out or to guess what's going on maybe after next episode, but definitely by episode 6, we're going to figure out what the hell is going on. But I think it's fun to try to guess because there are, when we start talking about it, there are more scenarios than we think, because the plane is not the only thing available. They could, like we said, get on a boat. They could travel to other countries and then make their way that way. We don't know. But no, I don't think Carol is going to die. But I'm just saying, if that was something, maybe, and we don't know, maybe Melissa McBride was like, you know what? I'll come back and do this season, but I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. She could very well have said that.
Yeah, and she could say she wants to die. And you know what? If she does, it will be she sacrificed herself to save Daryl and Laurent.
Yeah.
And now I don't like that, but I'm okay because I get that. Because she will say, don't keep me alive because that means I have a possibility of having to come back and we negotiate back and forth about me coming back and I don't want to come back. But at least that will make it where I'm never coming back.
Yeah. But I don't think that's going to happen either. I don't think Daryl or Carol would be killed. The only reason why I would say that they probably would kill Laurent is because I know when it comes to this show and emotional ties with characters or whatever, they really don't care, especially even when it comes to children, because y'all kill Carl off. And Carl should still be here. So
yeah, but we know why. So that's that.
And I understand it, but taking all of that out, if you're just looking at the story, it
makes no sense for Laurent to die,
and it makes sense for Carl to die.
But Carl had to die because we couldn't keep Carl. So you got to think of another kid who was willing to stay.
I'm just saying,
Carl had to go.
It's not like we haven't killed children on this show before.
No, we have killed kids. But I'm just saying, Laurent, because we making Daryl invest in this kid for him to die at the end, and then Daryl come back. There was no point. It was a point for Isabel to move the story on. There's no point.
Things have happened.
It has, but I just feel like Laurent will come to America. Now, if he died later, okay, sure. When they go try to save Maggie or something, Laurent may die, and we'd be like, "Oh, poor Laurent. He came to America, lasted a month." I mean, yeah, but Daryl got him here and Daryl kept his promise. So we need him to keep his promise and to do what he needed to do.
And then for me, that will be the part that makes no sense. You keep your promise, you keep him safe, you get him all the way to the Americas, and then he dies. Because then you're gonna have Daryl guilt, like, oh, I should have just left him in France. So
that's fine.
Again, look, we can put everything on one of those wheels and just kind of spin for the possibilities and determine like that. I said something about having a Deadpool for, I don't remember if it was this show or something else we were talking about, but I'm like, yeah, maybe we should just put down our predictions on how this season will end and then just go back and see which one of us was right, or, that might be fun to do.
We'll do that for season 3.
Okay.
Right. How will this end? Because it may be the end of 2 and Laurent's dead and we're going on to season 3. We're like, what happened?
And I'm gonna be like, I told y'all so.
We're carrying on. So what Daryl gonna do
at that point, season 3 just gonna be about getting home. Hell,
yeah. Well, they good.
No, it'll be like the Equalizer. He just gonna be taking out his revenge.
Yeah, and they are very good about. Oh wait. Okay. I'm gonna hold that thought. But they are very good for introducing, and I'm not talking about just Walking Dead, but TV shows have a very good track record of introducing the new big bad in the very last episode of a season. Mm-hmm. That might carry us on. But I just thought about something as far as Spain goes.
What?
Who's in Spain?
Not even who's in Spain. Jacinta is a Spanish name, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What?
She will carry on.
Maybe she gonna be the big bad, because remember, she's the one that's been kind of standing behind Lo Sang, pushing him to do stuff. So maybe
she works for a big bad or organization.
Either that, or if Daryl kills Lo Sang, Jacinta is right there. If she's Lo Sang's second in command, she might be the one to move the movement further. And if they're still after Daryl, maybe they'll go to Spain for that. I'm just saying, because other than that, I can't think of any other reason why they would go to Madrid.
Except for that plane falling out the sky.
Right. So.
But you wouldn't even go that direction.
Right. And that's what I was thinking, because I was like, isn't Spain on the other side? Like not towards the ocean?
It's south of them.
Let's see. Okay. Yep.
It's south of them.
I'm looking it up too.
So yeah, yeah. Okay. So we'll think about this a little bit more, and then maybe episode 6 we'll all have our theories as far as what takes them to Spain.
Yeah, I mean, Spain is south of France, but Madrid is super inland. It ain't nowhere near the water.
So that makes no. Okay.
They'd have to either.
Honestly, it really doesn't. So if he
unless they are doing that to kind of throw off Lo Sang and his followers, because if they have a plane, Lo Sang finds this out, he could probably be like, oh, they're gonna go home. Now, I would say if it was a regular situation, Lo Sang is not about to go to the United States. But if Daryl has Laurent, that might be enough motivation for him to go to the States to try to get Laurent back. Because remember, he doesn't want to kill Laurent per se. He wants to do this ceremony to prove that Laurent can survive the bite. That is his whole thing. So it's not like he's trying to kill Lo Sang, whereas Madame Genet was trying to, it's not like he was trying to kill Laurent, whereas Madame Genet was definitely trying to kill Laurent because Laurent contradicted what she was trying to do. Mm-hmm. So I guess we'll figure it out. Like I said, we'll watch episode 5. And then if we don't have anything in that episode to tell us or to point us towards Madrid and what might happen to get them there, then we can maybe, put out our theories on what's going to happen in episode 6 and how they end up in Madrid. Because again, right now, with us not knowing, the possibilities are endless.
Absolutely.
Right. And we really need to know how they got there, because if they fly, that's 2 hours and some change. If they walk, it's 273 hours. If they're in a car, that's sad. I had to look it up. If they're in a car, it's 12 hours.
Okay. And that's on regular roll. So that's not considering that they may run out of gas, that the vehicles may have been sitting there for however long. That's not counting that they may encounter walkers, or they may encounter other hostile people. So that's best case scenario. So yeah. So we'll think
I don't know. I don't know.
We'll watch episode 5, and then we'll think about our theories, and then we'll put them out there, and then we'll see how things go.
Yep.
Sound good? Sound like a plan?
Sound like a plan.
Yep. Sound like a plan.
You guys have any final thoughts about this episode?
No. Go try some truffle eggs.
Wait, what'd you say, Casey?
I said I'm just glad they're back together. Now if they get over all this infighting and act like they love each other.
Right. And go kill Osang. That's what we need. It. So on that note, that is it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media, on all the social media at Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.